The workplace affair, a classic. My short story, together for 15 years, ages 16 and 18 when we got together. Married since 15. We're both in pretty typical mid-career high-stress jobs where we're both proving ourselves. Etc. We don't have kids and like to travel. So we've been enjoying the dual income, no kids, lifestyle for quite a while. This past year got really insane for both of us with big work projects, and while we kept acknowledging we weren't spending enough time together, neither of us did anything about it. So, 2.5 weeks ago while on vacation, I revealed to my WW that I'm feeling neglected and really want to start focusing on us. She reveals she wants personal time to work on herself away from me entirely. This started out with the whole "we've been together so long I'm not sure who I am" type conversation. Over the course of the next hour or so, I managed to drag out that it's not personal time she wants. She's formed an IA with her boss and they've talked about making it a PA. Apparently there was a plan with goals. But my wife never went through with it because she felt too guilty. According to her, there was never more than hand on forearm or shoulder touching. This went on for about 1 month with dinner, texts, emails prior to me finding out. She's been friends with her for about 9 months, so these feelings are new. I gave the choice, me or her. At first, she chose the O until I matter-of-fact laid out the things we'd need to decide over the next few days. What assets we're dividing. Selling the house. Etc. I packed a bag in front of her to leave. And at that point she broke down. We spent a few hours apart, and when we came back together, she told me she wanted to work on things with me. She realizes the E is a fantasy and loves me, isn't sure if she's in love with me. But we've grown apart and she has these feelings. Blah blah blah. All the normal stuff you hear from a WW about that. So, I guess we're trying to work on things. The past few weeks we have had a lot of heartfelt talks as we've become overwhelmed with emotions. But we're trying to avoid getting too serious about discussions until we're able to meet with a marriage counselor, which should happen tomorrow. We're both at the conclusion that we love each other, but neither of us is in love with the other at the moment. I'm feeling too much neglect and pain and she's confused in her stupid affair fog. We've also spent the past 2 weeks or so doing new activities together. And when not overwhelmed with emotions or having those stupid talks, we're really getting along quite well, and I'm remembering why I was in love with her before. I'm seeing some signs that person I want to be with is still there. This scares the crap out of me, because I don't want to fall back in love with someone who just betrayed and hurt me so much. I want to hold myself aloof. Hell, I want to hold myself back and get myself to the point where I don't love her and I can just tell her to go, because I don't want to hurt. Then I think about not being with her and want to fall apart into a pile of tears, which only pisses me off more because I hate crying and feeling that way. Also, in the interest of full disclosure, I have had a few people over the years that I have started to form ease with. When I recognized I was forming inappropriate feelings for those people, I always chose to stop spending time and effort there and refocused myself back on my wife. I do understand and somewhat empathize with it happening, but she crossed the line once she told the other girl she wanted to kiss her, and they had multiple talks about having an affair. My WW has been dealing with a social anxiety disorder for a lot of her life, and she does not have a lot of friends. I am a social butterfly for the most part and have lots of friends. The girl she formed an E with is probably the first person, other than me, that she's been able to connect with and have a friendship with in many years. While she's done the NC letter and is supposedly keeping things to just business with the O, I don't see how she's going to be able to get over this having to interact with her all the time. We're going to a marriage counselor tomorrow, and I'm definitely bringing a list of questions to them as far as how we should be behaving, and how my WW can start showing me that she's worthy of trusting again. I hate that I want to snoop on her, but I also do not want to go there or do that. I feel like it will only grow my paranoia and suspicion, and if I start snooping, I think we're done. To occupy myself, I've signed up for some activities I've wanted to do for a long time but either didn't prioritize or was too chicken to do. I'm doing these on my own without my WW. I've encouraged her to join some groups on her own and to get to her yoga classes more, so we aren't together 24/7. I've made it clear to her that in our marriage it's either just us or we're through. I also told her that I really do think we've had a great relationship over the past 15 years, and I don't want to think badly of it. I do just want her to be happy, so if that means she needs to leave me to be with someone else, please do that. I don't want to be anyone's second choice, and while I do love her insanely, there are other people out there who will love me and treat me like I want to be treated. So let me go if that can't be you. TLDR, wife at EA, supposedly gone to NC and wants to work on it. I am devastated but willing to try. Just not sure if she'll be able to get over this. We see a marriage counselor tomorrow. Comments: you're only throwing money away by going to marriage counseling while she's still working with her affair partner. Is your relationship doomed? Not necessarily, but it depends largely on your wife. If she doesn't want to reconcile, then there's the duck all you can do. The first step in reconcile is severing all contact with the affair partner. This means she must quit her job. It's not open for discussion if she still sees her affair partner. Your wife's feelings will keep getting conflicted, and you really should consider verifying, not snooping. Your trust in her has been shattered. You cannot take what she says at face value anymore. But if you're willing to try and re-establish that trust with her, you will need to verify that she is in fact telling you the truth and is no longer in contact with O or any enabling friends. A VAR in her car, a keylogger on her laptop, computer. If she has an iPhone, sync it to iTunes to see potential deleted messages. All of this is moot, however, if she doesn't want to stay married to you, or if she still works with her affair partner. OP responds, while my wife does work with her boss travels around 50% of the time. And my WW deals with her mostly via email at this point. In the office she actually changed her seat so that she does not sit near her and does not see her except in meetings with others. I understand the NC, and I understand that we probably have less of a chance without it. But I wonder if that's how it's supposed to be for us. I don't see with her social disorders being able to take away the one group of people she knows and sees consistently in her other coworkers. She's worked there much longer than the O, almost a decade. I think that if I told her she had to quit she'd leave me, which is pretty telling of how I feel about this stuff. I have been becoming more comfortable with that thought, though. I know I will survive, and I know that I will eventually find someone else. That doesn't mean I don't wish we could come back. The WW is doing everything she's been asked by me so far. I didn't ask her to move at work, but she did that on her own. She's been home every day and clinging to me like glue. I've been pushing her away a fair amount, which probably isn't helpful. Even if it winds up being a waste of money, I feel I need to go to at least one MC session to see what they say. Fortunately, it's just a 10 copay, so whatever. I just don't want to become bitter over what has, for the most part, been a pretty awesome 15 years. I've had such a great life, and I really hate it got shattered this way. And I'm sick of crying all the time at the drop of a hat. I should clarify, the thought of going to HR is the revenge fantasy in my head, but not in my heart or really in me to do that. I am going forward into this with eyes as wide open as I can, but still try to not compromise who I am, who I want to be, or how I want to behave. While this is a huge betrayal and breach of trust, the vast majority of our marriage hasn't been this way. I don't want her duck up to turn me into someone I do not want to be. Perhaps I am fooling myself, and time will certainly tell. But I do think that I will be able to tell if she's engaging again. As soon as she told me she needed space, I immediately knew it was something else. And named the O. She just didn't cop to it immediately until I pushed a lot. So, some part of me knew what was up. I don't think that part of me will go to sleep for a very long time. For now, she's telling me about all the contact she's having with O. And how it makes her feel, both good and bad. O has said she will back off, doesn't want to F up our marriage or their work life. WW appears to be minimizing contact as much as possible and is starting to work on a project that will leave her interacting less with her boss directly. Her work organization is not all that traditional, so it is possible that she will not spend much time with her at all over the next few months. Given that this has been going on for just over a month and a half, I think I'm willing to see what plays out and what the marriage counselor says for now, as well as how WW progresses over the next few weeks. If nothing else, I think it will be educational on where we went wrong and what I can do right with the next person. I am financially secure, and regardless of the outcome here, I do not have to fear for my safety, my finances, or really anything other than my mental health. Currently, I'm planning to throw all my spare time into me, doing things that I want to do. She's welcome to come if she wants, and if she doesn't, that's on her. I also have an appointment with a different counselor for just me on Friday. I'm channeling pretty much all of my anger into physical activity. I've probably walked more in the past 2 weeks than in the previous month altogether. And now I can do a lot more push-ups. It's allowing me to get the emotion out without unloading on her. I think I want to save that for the MC sessions. At the moment, I'm still holding her back from my heart. I'm allowing some physical intimacy at the moment, and we're having a lot of heartfelt conversations. Whether her heart will love me again instead of the O has yet to be seen, but she does seem committed to trying this, for now. I do not believe my WW regrets her actions. How it happened, maybe. But not that it happened. Stepping outside myself, I can understand that. But inside myself.no. She wants the O but is comfortable with me. I believe I'm going to have to end this soon. I don't think she's strong enough to leave me given our history and her personal history with anxiety, etc. I have my own therapist appointment today. I intend to talk with her about leaving and what's best for me. I packed her a bag and sent her to stay with her parents. Right now, I'm enforcing no contact with her until our MC session on Wednesday. I just don't feel I can trust her and don't want to sleep next to her as a result. I have a feeling this is our death knell, and I rung it. But whatever. I didn't do this, she did. Time for me to pick up and move on, I think. but this still sucks. And my mother-in-law has now taken to emailing me about this since she's at home. She's trying to be supportive, but I don't think I can take support from her family. In fact, I think that once I can get my confirmation she's really done, cause clearly, I'm an idiot and not. I might make a nice huge move across the country and cut ties as completely as possible. So far, I'm maintaining no contact with her. She has told me she has a therapy appointment today on her own and plans to show up tomorrow. But I haven't responded yet. Clearly, I am not in control at all here of my emotions and am playing drowning man to this. Just wanting to thrash and grab at what we had. Intellectually I hate it, but emotionally I feel so raw and beat up and just really lost. My therapist on Friday told me this was normal. As she put it, I've lost 20 pounds during this time. I can't sleep, I can't concentrate on work, and work is a big pride point for me, and part of our issues in our relationship, of course. I used to have hair over 3 feet long, but during the course of this I kind of lost my mind and cut it from butt length to shoulder length. So, I don't recognize my wife, my life, or my own physical self, but knowing that really doesn't help as much as I'd like it to. I'm trying to keep myself busy with friends, but all I can do when I'm out with them is think of her. I can get away from it for a few minutes, but then I'm right back to obsessing. I'm currently taking some meds at night just so I can force myself to sleep. It lets me get at least 5 hours, and before I do the waking up every hour and having retarded dreams about reconciliation. I would be completely lying if I said I'm not hopeful for tomorrow and pinning a lot on getting an answer there. I'm not sure what I will do if she's still confused and can't commit. I have a feeling I'll wait. In other words, I'm doing all the wrong things emotionally even if I'm trying not to. I expect this to explode horribly in my face. I've started making noise at work about transferring to an office across the country. I thought it would be mostly just noise, but they seem genuinely interested in letting me do it. So, I am making some other plans. I've decided that if she's ending this, I'm going to head home to my parents for at least a week so that I can cut her out cold turkey for a while. I have managed to save up almost a month of vacation. So maybe I'll do something wild and go somewhere I've always wanted to go but we didn't make time for. We have an MC session today. I still feel like this will be our last one. I feel stronger today than I did before, but I know this is just part of the roller coaster. I went out with a bunch of friends over the past few nights and have had a good time. Went to some bars, and while I didn't get drunk, I did get hit on a lot, which made me feel good. But it also confirmed that I'm really just interested in my wife still. I wish she could just make up her ducking mind. I feel like I'm stuck in a relationship with an emotional child. Her mom told me today she still hasn't told her anything. I'm the only source of information that they have on this. I wished her luck in further communicating with her daughter once I'm no longer around, because I'm definitely not staying in contact with any of them when this goes further south. MC session was actually pretty good. The counselor did a good job of digging into her running away from feelings and tough situations problems she has. She actually seemed to take a lot of it to heart, but I suppose time shall tell. I told her that the separation is hard for me but that it's good, too. She admitted to being concerned that I'm going out a ton without her. She knows the people I'm out with are a bit wild, and I told her that is why I was out with them. It's carefree fun where I don't have to think about what happened. She admitted she was worried in general about what I am up to and misses me a lot. I told her that I am not preventing her from coming home. So, I kept up with not contacting her after the session. After she was done with work, she texted me and asked if she could come over and cuddle and watch some TV. So, we did that and she was pretty clingy. I made a point of getting up frequently and making sure that when I sat down, I did not go to her at all and she had to come to me. I don't know. I think I'm going to be on this roller coaster for a while longer. I do get what you guys are saying, but I can't walk away from 15 years over one mistake if we can reconcile. We aren't reconciling yet. I don't know that we will. But we're skirting the topic and I'm letting her be the one who pushes forward for now. I seem to be okay doing this for now, meaning today, but if that changes, I'll have to walk away. Last night was the first night I slept through the whole night, and I do feel better today. I think I am still in shock, and clearly have some unresolved issues with acting out. I've twice put myself in the spot where I behaved inappropriately and had to turn down revenge good time and didn't want to. At the time anyway. Clearly some crap is unresolved if I keep putting myself in this spot, then beating myself up for being in it. The whole point of this is to not be self-destructive, with or without her. Last night I came really close to going home with someone and only stopped myself at the last minute. Today I feel pretty gross about it. As the day crawls on and gets closer to tonight I keep feeling way more dread. I'm supposed to go on a date with the WW tonight, but I am not sure if I even want to see her right now. I couldn't wait to see her on Tuesday, Wednesday. Every day I wake up without her it's a little easier. I feel like I'm starting to flop more over to the side of just pushing her away and being done with this. I feel weird about canceling the date. I am not just being held hostage by her. Here, it's also me. I would love to just say get out and be done with it, but the thought of that makes me feel sick. I don't particularly want her to be home and don't plan to invite her back. but at the same time I don't want her at work seeing the O and not seeing me. I keep thinking that I know what I want when I say I want to try with her. But I'm not sure that's true anymore. I'm really starting to consider the possibility of living without her, and it's not nearly as awful as it was before. I still don't like it at all, and still want her back. But I wonder how much of that is just reaction to having it taken away from me instead of choosing to leave, or there being some other natural conclusion. She stayed here the past 2 nights. We had a decent time on Friday night and Saturday, but a bit of an emotional time last night. She says she wants to move back in, but I told her there is no rush, and the name of the game right now is patience. I have been sleeping better with her not home, and I think I'm doing more to move away from the marriage with her out. So, I don't want to rush her back while I'm still sorting my head out. A lot of her traits I don't like are directly in front of my face, and I'm trying to look pretty hard at them to figure out if they're things I can live with again or not. I have to admit I'm pretty disgusted with how indecisive she is, and her lack of ability to deal with difficult things. I really shouldn't be surprised. Her parents are pretty stunted emotionally too. She left here today to go to a baby shower with her mother, and I know she was feeling pretty anxious and had tears in her eyes. I'm supposed to go to dinner tonight with her and her parents. It's the father-in-law's B-day dinner. I told her I could do that if she wanted me to, but I'm fine not going to. She's asked me to go, so for now I'll do that. In the meantime, I'm going to go to a friend's party. A harmless one, no chance of doing stupid things, and try to have some fun today. My goal each day is going to be to keep working out, do something fun for me, and get through the day. If she can't make up her mind, I'll hit a point where I tap out. I'm not there yet, but I'm not letting her hinder my social life or personal growth right now, and I'm clearly in no shape to date anyone else either. So I guess I feel I don't have anything to lose by seeing where this plays out, for now. I did tell her about the other night, just that there was almost cheating, but I stopped myself. She didn't want to hear more details than that, and needed time to process, so who knows what that means. My gut says our relationship is dead. She isn't in love with me but doesn't know how to let go. I think I'm okay with that, and will try to cut her out if this gets to be too emotional. I think I will anyway. I hope I am strong enough if it gets to that point. The WW is back at the house. So far, it's been okay. She's been a bit melancholy, but I've ignored it and done my own thing. I had a great day at work yesterday with some of my coworkers and went out to dinner with some friends. When I got home, she was just getting back for the gym as I was taking the dog for a walk. She asked to join me and we shared some idle chit-chat. We watched some TV together and cuddled after that, before heading off to bed. She's been fairly clingy with me when she's around me. I don't discourage or encourage it. I cuddle her when she comes to me, but I'm not shy about getting up and doing other things, and not necessarily coming back to her after. I know the O is back at work this week, and I'm sure that's not helping anything. We both have individual counseling sessions today, then MC tomorrow. We'll see what she has to say then, but for now I'm going to continue to keep it light and not engage. I've always done everything electronically as far as finances go, so we have all the records of who contributed how much and when, but I don't know that I care so much about getting what's mine versus just getting away if it comes to that. I make at least double what she makes, so financially life will be easier for me. Her, harder for her without me. I really don't know that much about the O other than they work together and I've met her once. And I know a bit about what she used to do for work. I could totally take her out in a fight. Sorry, the 5-year-old in me popped out there. Supposed to see the WW here in a bit. We've both had IC today. My therapist pointed out how checked out I am, and I agree with her. I think I might actually just pack up my crap at some point this week and go stay with a friend, unless something happens tomorrow in MC to make me feel like I'm hanging around for a reason. I have no idea why this happens to us. Tonight, dinner was supposed to be light, but she made a joke that just triggered for me, so I left her at the restaurant. I stayed out a while and finally came home. When I did, I asked her why she was here. She said she felt like this weekend was a turning point and was supposed to represent to me that she's here and ready to reconcile. I told her my impression was that she doesn't really want to be here but doesn't know how to leave. At that point she took what I said as she's not trying hard enough and it's not going to be enough, and basically started having a pity party. I feel bad it went that way, but doesn't she see how I could wonder why she's not committed? You'd think an hour's worth of emotion and crying is the end of the ducking world, and this all hurts so much. I didn't get angry, I just listened to her and then eventually left her to sleep. It's going to be an interesting session tomorrow, I think. She makes me feel so conflicted. I want to believe her, but she lies. I can't trust her right now. I told her that's the big thing we have to work on and lean on the therapist for, because this will only work if I can trust her, and right now I can't. She also seemed to take that as nothing she does will be good enough. Man, she needs to grow up. I'm not sure if it's the level of what she's doing, the fact that we aren't having serious talks, or if in general we're just not communicating well. That's going to be the focus of our MC today. How do we have productive conversations where we can both express ourselves without the other seeing it as an attack? She felt like I was attacking her contributions because I said her waffling on moving back and didn't give me the impression we were reconciling. Neither of us are going to be hard off financially. She'll get a huge chunk of change from our joint savings alone if we split. I don't think that this is a huge factor for her. Money has never been super important to either of us. So, the MC session went really well. I do not want to let myself feel hopeful, but I will admit that I do. I think we finally had a breakthrough today where she realized that what I'm asking her to do is try and work on our marriage, not decide right now that she's going to be committed to me for the rest of our lives. Again, like we did when we got married, I told her I wasn't ready to recommit myself to her like that. We have a lot of work to do before I can say that sort of thing again, but that the point is that we work on this stuff together and be more open, honest, but with care towards each other's feelings. I still plan to keep on with all the stuff I've got going on, taking time for me, doing things with friends, and in general working on keeping myself happy. But I do intend also to try and watch her to see where her efforts lie and see if I believe she really does want to reconcile and isn't just scared. If she is willing to put in the effort, I definitely am as well. I just want to see it first before I'll believe the words. Because I've no trust for her words right now. I don't think she can handle the double life, so to speak. I think she'll give herself away quickly if she starts rekindling things. But maybe I'm foolish there. I think the WW will come to the conclusion on her own that it's time to move jobs. She admitted in her own IC and our MC that she stayed at this job because it's easier to stay than to find something new. I know she's burned out on a lot of the actual work itself. I'm waiting to see what she's offering me as part of this reconciliation. I still don't consider us started reconciling until she can do something to make me believe that there is NC. I mean, I'm not going to be a piece of crap to her or anything, but I'm going to try and keep my emotions at bay until I see some sincerity there that I can trust. I should mention that the WW wants to go away together this weekend, but I haven't committed to it yet. I'm having a lot of trust issues with her and I'm not sure if I could stay on the keep it light, don't get emotional track I'm on now away with her. That seems like a big red flag to me about how I'm feeling. Our MC said we're a long way away from rebuilding trust, and I don't know if I can live with someone that I don't feel like I can trust. I feel the urge to spy on her pretty heavily, and I hate that feeling in me. I should also note, even if I wanted to keylog her computer, she has a work phone and work computer that I do not have regular access to and couldn't install that stuff on. I have told her I think that working with her boss is an issue, and plenty of people make others quit their jobs. I've also made it clear that the one asks I've had on her is NC, until I see that NC and hear it from her. I don't know, I don't really think we're an R. I agree with you guys there. I just want to like myself on the other side of this, whether it's with her or not. And I feel like if I do things that I don't want to do, ask her to leave her job, force her to make choices she might not be ready to make, I likely will regret that later. I don't want to be blind to this, but don't have a lot of choices unless I wish to hack her phone or computer. So, I have a feeling unless she's able to do something to make me feel more comfortable soon, I'm going to have to tap out because I don't like the distrust. Short update, WW and I are getting along well. We've had a few good dates and are having an easy time in each other's company. Of course, this is not really dealing with any of our problems. So shouldn't be surprising it's not difficult. The WW can feel my distance and is doing a lot to try and pull me back into the moment. Pay attention to her. I'm giving in to a point but still keeping myself back until we're able to get past some of the bigger problems. She just doesn't get to have all of me until I know I have all of her again. She's told me it hurts when I pull back. My response to her has been so far that it's the only defense I have against what she's done, and it still hurts right now. She's made a lot more offhand, volunteered comments about how the affair was a mistake. So crazy 2 weeks could wreck so much, etc. I don't know how much I believe what she's saying versus her thinking her getting caught is so bad. That's just my level of distrust for her right now. I have at least twice told her in the past few days that I am not holding her back from her AP, and if she chooses her, it's okay. Things can still be amicable. She just looks sad when I say that and has said she's choosing me. I wish I could believe her, and that I didn't think she's just got things underground, hiding from me. But that's going to take time in addition to her doing NC, which she claims she is. I don't know, I hate this mess. I hate that she did this to me and to us and that she had no willpower to resist. I want to believe that eventually we can come out of this stronger. But I am too upset to see that path, and there's still so much work we both have to do before that kind of thing can be true. And I just don't know that she's going to be resilient enough to stand up and do the work. I see my WW as weak, and I am skeptical that will change. It definitely won't be the same, that's for sure. But some of that is positive, too, as I'm coming out of my own fog, shock, whatever. I know I wasn't happy for at least 2 years and was on cruise control. My whole life was on cruise control. I was doing what I needed to do at work X100 to get some crazy things done, and I just burnt myself out. Not justifying the wife looking elsewhere for attention or anything. I just know I wasn't there or available. Of course, the ding on the wife there is that she didn't pull me back or help me out there either. which is part of why I'm doing a lot of considering if she's the right one for me for another 15 years. I'm happy to report my appetite is coming back. This ordeal caused me to lose about 25 pounds, which is a nice silver lining. Certainly has helped me with a confidence boost. Anyway, at this point, I'm still at least somewhat in the betrayed spouse fog. I do still want to work things out with the WW and am seeing her progress more each day. Things move better on the weekends when she isn't going to work. So probably it's better when she doesn't see the O. Typical and not shocking to the rest of you, I'm sure. I have caught myself trying to make plans here and there for us further out than a month and stopped myself. I keep reminding that happy part in my brain that we're not actually moving forward yet and to slow the hell down. I think we're doing well reconnecting, but I am still watching her like a hawk. Her actions are great most of the time, but they are lacking at times. I've made some plans for us this week to go out with some new friends, and I've made a fair number of solo plans as well. So far still planning to continue with the other personal improvements and solo activities. I do believe if this does end, I'm in a much better place mentally and physically to deal with it, so that's positive at least. I still wish none of it had ever happened, but that's not a bell that can be unrung. She actually said it herself that the week Theo was out of town it was easier. So she knows it. I think a lot of right now is seeing if we can reconnect for both of us. While she knows the O makes it hard, we still have damage from before the affair that we need to see if we can get past. It's not easy for me to be patient and wait through this period, but doing things that are a stretch for me will help me learn and grow either way. Or so I tell myself. I'm meeting some new people on Thursday without her and I feel weird about it. Happy and sad at the same time. She can only end all contact if she quits the job, and I think she has to reach that conclusion, not of me tell her. I'm not sure if it means the O hasn't backed off, or if just seeing her. Being in meetings with her is tough. I would imagine just seeing her is tough. I think that her IC and her own wanting to improve is going to push her to find a new job soon or start looking. I'm not sure of that, but a lot of what she describes as wanting in the future is going to require her to stretch and grow. So I'm, possibly stupidly, waiting this out a bit. I don't disagree with you, Shaggy. I realize I'm binding myself to a person who has shown very little consideration for me, but I'm also trying to temper the advice here with where my WW is emotionally, growth-wise as a person. She is pretty stunted and a lot of things that are obvious to normal people aren't to her. I realize I'm allowing her social anxiety to be a crutch for her behavior now. But if I do want this to work out, I think I have to for the moment. With that said, I have told myself that if I'm not seeing movements towards the types of improvements I think I should see within the next 2 months, I'm done. I won't make a big deal out of it. I'll just quietly make the arrangements and move out. But things have to be better for me to keep staying, or I'm done. Just to be clear, I didn't say I was done if she didn't quit in 2 months. More that I need to see progress along a positive line. I've told her I want more open communication and more steps towards R before I consider us in R. There is no hidden agenda here. Just a timetable by which I'm living for me. I am not telling her she has to quit. If she needs to quit in order to really R with me, then that's on her. If she's able to get over her stuff her boss while still working there, then so be it. I'm not sure how the trust will work in that situation, but I imagine there are ways to do it. I currently work with a few different people who have had these sorts of things happen. The issue is her and her feelings and what she is choosing to do about them. I realize that's against all the conventional wisdom, and for good reason because it's less likely to work. I'm willing to take a bit of a risk here given the history and issues the WW has emotionally. For some period of time anyway, if she gets her feelings and actions under control and can show me she really wants to R, I'm game for whatever the future holds. But until I see her making strides towards meeting my needs, which have been pretty clearly communicated both in and out of MC, we're not in R, and if we're still not in R in another 2 months, I don't think that's being passive-aggressive. That's having waited 4 months for the right signs that y'all say I should be seeing already if she was serious. And at that point, who knows? Maybe my packing up and leaving will be what she needs to see from me to realize I'm going to be gone from her life. I've been pretty lenient and non-demanding with her to date, other than the briefly kicking her out thing. We're both women, and yes, you are all correct, I am being very soft with her. My feeling is that this has to be soft now while she gains the coping and communication skills she's getting from our MC and her IC. Our relationship has been one where we don't fight because she just doesn't allow it. If we have a disagreement that seems like it might even hint at getting uncomfortable, something she doesn't want to talk about, she just shuts down. It makes sense given her family and history, but going hard and fast here isn't going to get things to work with her. I am seeing progress so far through the soft, patience approach, but I am definitely using this place as an outlet to express the fact that it's not where I want it to be yet. I'm preparing for what folks here have told me is the inevitable. The soft approach isn't going to work and this is going to blow up in my face. I think that's a lot of why I have a foot out the door, and it's for good reason. She could very well blow all of this up in my face. In her head, what we're doing right now is attempting to rebuild the relationship connection as much as possible so that the other questions she has about us, our future, herself, can be answered. I don't know what those questions are, and for now I have plenty of my own questions and crap to deal with while we're getting along. So, I don't feel like I have a ton to lose by the soft approach for now, and more to lose with the hard approach. I have a feeling it'll come later if I'm not getting what I need and she's just moving too slow. As for not knowing expectations, I know what I expect out of my wife, but I don't know what to expect as to how we get there. I know the prevailing opinion here is that if she sees the O, we're toast. It could be true. I don't want to get into an argument about it. I know it's often true. I still don't feel that it's on me to make that happen here by demanding she quit her job. With that said, I am very tempted to send the O an email or letter. The WW confided in one of her coworkers, although not about it being the boss part. The O doesn't know that, though, and I feel like I could scare her pretty easily with a totally nicely, calmly worded email. But I don't know if that would get back to my WW, and I don't know if I want to deal with the fallout from that. I actually plan to bring some of this up at MC today. I'm not expecting you guys to sympathize with me when you've given me good advice and I'm not taking it. Or at least not outright taking the advice. I'm using this place as an outlet when things feel overwhelming. And for the reality checks, the only part of NC I haven't forced with her is the quitting of the job. I've told her she needs to go as NC as possible. So no talk other than business. She sent her a letter to that effect as well. I just have no way to enforce that or know if it's happening. I cannot hack her work computer or BlackBerry to verify. I know she's not on the WW's Facebook or any other social networking sites. I know she's not texting with her as I can check out the bill, etc. I've not asked to read their work messages, but I suspect that it will be part of what I ask of her later. I also suspect at some point I will have a conversation with the O, whether the WW wants that or not. I just want to make sure I'm in the right mental space for that. I do happen to know she's looking up the numbers of people I'm texting with that she doesn't recognize, so apparently she figured out how to log in and view our cell records, and found that in the search history on our shared computer. I don't know, do I take her checking up on me when I'm not with her as a good sign or a null point? I had another IC session today after our MC and I'm feeling fairly positive at the moment. I'm maintaining a list of things I know I want going forward and keeping them with me. Today at MC we agreed to schedule a few time-bound and specific topic-focused discussions about where we're and some of the things I need to know. While she's willing to answer my questions, she gets completely overwhelmed by her emotions right now and pretty much shuts down, depending on how we approach the conversation. We've gained some new skills in the past few sessions, and my IC has been helping me a lot with recognizing some of my own motivation that push the wrong buttons in the WW. I'm hoping that these are fruitful and I don't feel shortchanged by how hampered my communication feels with her. So we shall see. In the meantime, I'm still keeping her off balance, it seems. After we had dinner together last night, I went back out with some friends without her and had a good time. Tonight, we're hanging out with some other friends of mine, but tomorrow I'm having dinner with some other folks without her again. She broached the subject of talking this weekend. I told her I'd like to if she's okay with that. She said the idea makes her nervous, but she's okay. I think we'll try and go for something easy and see how it goes so that the idea of these talks doesn't get too out of hand and it becomes something she can handle. She left her email open on my computer. Don't know why. She's got two of her own. Anyway, so, I looked. I found a message from her to the O basically saying, I can't be just friends with you. The only option here is a professional relationship. Anything else will ruin my marriage. That made me happy, but the O replied with it's hard, which made me rather unhappy. I'm now kind of obsessed with writing, calling her and telling her to take a flying leap, but I'm sitting on that for now. I've already written her a threatening email basically saying leave my wife alone or else, but I'm not ready to pull that trigger yet. Fortunately, the wife has a few rather large and looming projects at work hanging over her head that keep her on the phone or in meetings with tons of people every day. Her boss is not involved in any of these projects, as the WW got them from the boss. I should say the odd thing about her job is that I used to work there, so I know the business, the cast of characters, and who she winds up working with most of the time. A week later, I was having a rough day today with some triggers from my trip home. Time period she was going on dates with the O while I was out of state. She approached me a few times to talk, but I let her know I just wasn't in the right state for it. She pushed for conversation a bit later and I let her know what I was having issues with. She was sad I was so upset but understood that this is going to last a while, etc. She was pretty eager to offer whatever kind of comfort or action I needed, leaving me alone, holding me, whatever, which is a step up from the avoidance tactics she was taking a few weeks ago. At that point she pushed again for more conversation, so we had a short one. I'll be terse in my wording here, but the conversation was a lot wordier as I was attempting to use some of the conversational skills we've learned that make her feel like she has the safety and space to answer truthfully. So, the gist is I asked where things stood with the O. Had they been in contact? What kind? Etc. She told me about the email exchange and that the O had been pushing for regular friendship, but that what I had seen was her pushing back saying no. While the O did the one response with "it's hard," there had been nothing since. There are 2 work events coming up that the O will be at. The WW has declined one of them on her own because the O will be there and has asked me if I would be willing to go to the other. The second event is a work conference in another city. It's a large conference and one that most of her team will be going to. She would be in different tracks than the O and likely not see her except at functions after the conference events. Which is why she wants me there. So, we can do other things or so she can attend them with me and avoid the O. I asked her to make a pro-con list of the trip, what would be good for her career, learning-wise to go versus the cost of having me and the O in the same area at the same time. I asked her to take that to her IC and make sure that there aren't other motives or things lurking around in there that she isn't aware of driving that ask. She agreed to all of that and that it was a good idea. I am generally open to the idea. The conference is in a city we've had a lot of fun in and I'm able to work remotely from there at the time if I choose. I'm not crazy about the idea of seeing the O, but I don't think it will be a huge deal for me. She admitted that it's still not easy seeing the O, but that it's getting easier. She feels that the issue there now is less about the O and more about the loss of something else. We've been together so long, giving up the O and that fantasy life means giving up the idea of ever being the single girl in the city, living totally on her own independent of everyone, divided by etc. She also said she realizes that sort of lifestyle would probably be fun for about 6 months, and then she would be back to wanting what we had again. She has really been into the time we're spending together and feels a lot of our old feelings coming back, along with new ones. She's been pretty surprised by my 180 and it's been making her feel uneasy, but she doesn't feel she can restrict me in any way right now. She likes the independent streak I've been on but finds herself jealous of my easy friendships and plans that seem to happen spontaneously. I told her that those are the things I hope for her that comes out of IC. That she's able to learn boundaries and how to form those great friendships that are around for years. She also said she feels like she's watching me change into a different person, which scares her a bit, but she also finds it intriguing. I don't really know what to make of that. I feel more settled with the information she shared today, and I feel a bit better about where she stands. Now I just have to wait and see if her actions are following her words. I'm not going to say anything to the O at this time. For now, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, spending time with the WW on dates and doing new things, but also going out with friends and being independent and keeping up the new exercise routine. I still want to see things work out, but I can't see dropping my guard anytime soon, either. I just need to keep the balancing act there right, somehow. My comment: do you leave or stay when your partner has an emotional one? Sub and bell, and tell me, did you ever